over the show. Hard work by the ground teams, and first light this morning we brought in the helicopters in the nick of time. I must say the fire came very close to Betty's Bay and running into Pringle Bay. So we deployed 2 helicopters. Our objective was to protect the houses behind you against the mountain. We managed to get that right by using the working on fire helicopter. It was later joined by Air Force helicopter, Oryx helicopter, and we managed to take the threat away from Pringle Bay as well. So the early objectives this morning was to structure protection, put out the lines, make sure we don't have flare-ups. We put vehicles in because now we could start fighting back and not just be defensive. And right now, as we speak, we're busy putting the last line out, well, not the last line, but one of the more important lines behind the mountain. So we've got several ground teams, and as Mr. Smith has indicated, people from Overberg, Overstrand, City of Cape Town working on fire, NCC, Overberg wildfire, a whole bunch of people trying to get this situation under control. So this is probably, at this stage right now, it's probably the best we've been in the last 24 hours. Our major lines are out. We are working on lines still that can pose a threat later on, and we will be focused on that for the rest of the day and guarding it through the rest of the night.
How many hectares have been affected so far?
I don't know. We haven't done the mapping yet. So as soon as our GIS people, we've mapped it on our maps, then we'll be able to know exactly. Because there's still, remember, we've still got fire spreading slowly in the mountains, and we still need to get into the back of the mountains to determine exactly how many hectares have been burnt.
Is there still a threat of property?
There's no immediate threat of property. There is a long-term threat of property on the lines that we're working now, hence the reason why we deployed the working on fire and the Oryx helicopter again. We don't want a repeat of what we had where the fire creeps back on us and we sit with the situation, so we want to prevent that at all costs.
Has someone been arrested? The police of Kleinmond has apparently confirmed that someone has been arrested.
We will comment on that later on. I'm just going to tell you about the operations that we did throughout the day.
Can you just give us a logistical-wise, how many people are currently involved, how many fire trucks?
Roughly, and this is very roughly off the top of my head, I think we're looking at about 18 to 25 trucks involved, 2 helicopters. We've got 360, probably about 80 firefighters on the ground, physically walking the lines, fighting the fires, plus all the backup and support for these units and for these firefighters.
Hoekom het julle op die eerste dag die helikopters gestop nadat julle vuur onder beheer gehad het? Ek dink dit is omtrent 3 in die middag.
Die vuur was nie 3 in die middag onder beheer nie. Die vuur was op daai stadium redelik hoog in die berg. En die besluit is gemaak dat ons kon nie aangaan daarmee nie, want ons sou nie daai aand voor donker sukses kon bereik het nie. So daar is besluit om helikopters af te staan. Nommer 1, nommer 2, die weer het 'n groot rol gespeel toe dit begin reën en mistig geraak en toe kon die helikopters nie meer vlieg nie. So ons het hulle afgestaan met die idee om hulle op bystand te hou, om die onderste lyne, as hulle sou flare, so ons hulle weer ontplooi het. Maar toe die weer ons gekortwiek en ons was die reën het deurgekom en so aan. Dit is hoekom ons gereed was die volgende dag met meer en meer spanne om in te gaan.